Welcome on in, Fantasy Alarm family. How you doing? How you doing? It is a crazy Tuesday up in here today. We got waivers, we got trade deadline, we got everything going on. I'm your host, Andrew Cooper. Alongside me, the great Howard Bender. Before we get to all that, I will just say this is the first show Howard and I have done together this week. And we will talk all trades, we will talk all waivers. But first, I just have to mention, and I'm not going to sugarcoat this. Week 9 of NFL football here at Fantasy Alarm may go down in history. It's certainly one of the greatest weeks that we have ever had, man. I mean, it's one of those ones that scares you because we were coming in hot. But man, for as many things to go right as they did, I'm nervous for week 10. Howard, I don't know if you can live up to the hype, man. I mean, you were laying lumber this week, man. Talk to the people.
Dude, fantastic week. Absolutely. I'm already into week 10. I've already written articles. Everybody who's lost Jaden Daniels and Tucker Kraft, my article in the New York Post, which should be out today, tells you exactly how you want to stream your quarterbacks and who you want to look for. My weekly bender over at rtsports.com, I tweeted it all out to everybody. That not only covers quarterback waiver wire, but it also covers tight end waiver wire as well. Coop's got his articles out. We're covering it all. But yeah, let me say this. I will definitely pound my chest and talk about, because this is what we've talked about throughout the entire season. All right. We've talked about the mid-season adjustments. We can always sit here and crap on Mike McDaniel, right, for not making the necessary in-game adjustments, why the Dolphins suck so much in the second half. Same thing when we're talking about Arthur Smith not making the necessary in-game adjustments. Guess what? Fantasy Alarm made the necessary in-game adjustments. If you guys play DFS and you've been following the playbook, the watch list, everything like that, we've discussed the process and how we're changing it, how we're attacking different contests, things like that. All right. And it's ridiculously important. Your lineup construction is insanely important. And if you're focusing more on single entry GPP tournaments now, instead of playing 50-50s, then you're coming out on top now, because instead of chasing these lineup trains for, maybe 2xing your money, but you're not even 2xing your money. But if you're making that attempt, why not take that same lineup, put it into a single entry GPP tournament and 7x your money? That's what it's all about. And that's what we talked about as far as doing it. So we're building lineups differently. We're taking a few more shots that we don't normally take. And you know what? Those shots panned out. Those shots have panned out. We can talk Parker Washington and what he did for you at that ridiculously low price. We can talk about the showdown slate and what it did with Torrey Horton, right? So we're moving and, we're making all of the necessary adjustments to help you guys win. And we've been doing it over the last 2 weeks. And now, boom, week 9, this is where it all tops out. And I'll tell you what, I mean, listen, yes, I've always tried to be a humble person with regard to this. I've always tried to be. Yes, you're winning. That's great. I love it.
This week was different. This week was different. I mean, every time we're on the show, we do our hits, we do our misses, and we had our misses too. But the guys didn't deliver, but we had some. Today was the week, man.
Dude, 5 out of the top 6 highest scoring quarterbacks were in the playbook. All right, 3 out of the top 4 highest scoring running backs in the playbook. I don't know anybody else who told you to start Drake London in your DFS lineups this week, people. I've listened to so many people on SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio talking about the fact that they're like, I don't know where this Drake London thing came from. Michael Penix is back, so I guess there it is. Drake London was huge. Michael Pittman over 100 yards. Both Rams wide receivers, I told you.
Can I say one thing on on Drake London is that, dude, watching that game, whatever the Falcons were doing to get Drake London switches on, like, they knew the Patriots were going to switch, and I think he scored all 3 touchdowns against Marcus Jones. They had Christian Gonzalez on him, and they figured out how to trigger the switches. I mean, Patriots got to fix that, but you crushed that this week, man. They knew the Falcons came in with a plan and executed it. I mean, they didn't win the game, but like, those are the little things, man, that like everybody was off because of that.
They covered the spread, buddy. Did I not tell you that?
Yep. Oh yeah. So there you go. I was worried about the trap game, man. We got lucky with a couple plays there for sure. But I mean, Drake London, Michael Pittman comes through again. You said Rams wide receiver. It's just I did the write up for the Rams article. I had Devontae Adams anytime touchdown in there. What a week, man. I got people texting me saying we're going out for steak dinners. Got old girlfriends knocking on the door. Hey, what's going on? And
I mean, listen, the value
a
plays
little
that
bit,
we brought
a little
you,
bit.
right?
Every once in a while.
Monangai, Trevion Henderson, told you to use Kareem Hunt. I talked about how John Morton was going to use Jamison Williams in a different way. The big one was Friday and Saturday. Was it Thursday and Friday? Yesterday, of last week, we were on air when the news broke that Cooper Kupp got downgraded, and we immediately started talking Torrey Horton. Then on Halloween, I started talking about Torrey Horton, started talking about Parker Washington. All right. I wrote about it in my article in the New York Post, Torrey Horton and Parker Washington, right? That published on Saturday. Everything that we were giving out at the tail end of the week just kept hitting.
So even Michael Wilson hit the bets for us. He had to do it on one big long play, but it all came through. And I'll tell you what, that's all we're going to do for last week because, as always, it's on to this week. We had some guys.
I want to talk a little bit more here because I definitely think that there's some things that we need to talk about here, immensely. Because again, I see our boy Greg Martinez is in the chat right now. What's up, Greg? Like playing pick'em contests on Underdog, RT Sports, wherever you're at. All right. You can read the articles and you can see what the plays are. If you're new to this, what you need to do is you need to start small. Yes. 2 picks at a time, right? Just go 2 picks at a time and don't worry about the fact of whether or not there's, you're not getting full value. Like this is like a 0.94 multiplier. This is a 0.86 multiplier. All you're doing right now, if you're new to this, is just building your bankroll. So what you need to do is go to BetMGM, go to DK Sportsbook, open it up and look at what the lines are. When I go and I start making some prop picks over at Underdog or RT Sports or whatever, I immediately go to the books and I start looking for what does the book say? What's minus 160? What's minus 170 right now? Because those are the ones where Vegas is it's juicing the lines so that you aren't really playing them. And if you do,
they don't want you to
getting a huge return. That's fine because you're going over to Underdog now and you're taking those picks there and you're just picking 2 guys at a time, right? The thing that I noticed with Greg's line, because Greg and I talk, we DM back and forth all the time. One of the plays that he tailed was Dak Prescott over 2.5 touchdown passes. And what I haven't gotten a chance to tell Greg yet, and I get to do it right here, right now, is did you go to the books and look at the line for Dak Prescott? 2.5 touchdowns. The over was plus money. The under was minus 245 before the game started. Minus 245 tells you it's under. They're not expecting him to go over this amount, right? It's not. Is it foolproof? No, it's not. But it's important that you always go and you check the lines and you make sure that you are just keeping tabs on everything that you need to keep tabs on. That's what's going to do, because then all you're doing, if you're betting $1, $2, $5, $10, 2 picks at a time, you're just slowly building up. I have tickets from Monday Night Football last night where it was I bet $10 and I won 41. Who's against that?
Right.
It's better than picking 4 or 5, being oh, I'm going to get this big return and blah, 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 blah. Those moments will come for you, right? I did that on Underdog also, right? 4 picks, 5 picks, ended up on a $10 bet. I ended up winning $250 on that. But you have to build up to that. This isn't something that you just automatically jump into, tail somebody's picks and jump in and do it. You have to be a part of that process. So if you want to be a part of that process, listen, you got a QR code right up here above my head. All right. And I'm going to pop this onto the screen right now. All right. Go to fantasyalarm.com/YouTube. All right. And get 50% off of your first month. You can zap this QR code that's on the screen right now. All right. The promo code is YT50. All right. And that'll auto populate when you go to fantasyalarm.com/YouTube. You just click apply and it does it. Your first month, take 50% off and follow what we're doing. Hit me up in Discord. Hit Coop up in Discord, right? Hit John and Pemba up. Ask the questions that need to be asked. That's what we're here for. This isn't just about we're giving out picks and hoping that you guys subscribe and whatever. We're teaching you to be better players. We're teaching you to be better fantasy football players. We're teaching you to be better bettors. We're teaching you to be better at pick'em contests. I don't want to see anybody lose. I don't want somebody on a week like we just had this week. I don't want to hear somebody be like, oh man, it didn't work out for me. Come to me and let's talk about how we make it work for you. And that, I guarantee you, is going to make you a better player. So we will put week 9 behind us and look towards waivers and trade deadline. But I can't stress this enough.
Right.
All right. And I said it on the air the other day. If you ain't part of the family, you ain't winning. And if you are winning, you could be winning more.
True. And I'll tell you, I mean, I only put in bets that I truly believe in, that I truly care about. Like, there's so many people who give you 100. Most weeks I do too. I do a full write-up for each one I do in the previews and predictions. This week I had 4. I think this year the most I've done is 4 because that's what I'm doing. And sometimes it is Kaimi Fairbairn over 1.5 field goals at -147.
Right.
You know, he kicked 5. He kicked 5. They don't want you to bet. They don't want you to bet that. That's the thing is they want you to do certain bets. They're trying to trick you into doing that. And we're focusing on what's going to hit and then playing it in ways that, you know what, if it is all odds like that, maybe we will leverage it with Pick'em. Maybe we'll just do a couple straight bets. But at the end of the day, you build your bankroll. That's how we do it over at Fantasy Alarm. So there you go, folks. Make sure you become a member, get in on all that good stuff behind the paywall because we're doing it every single week. This just happened to be a really good week, so we had to start out with a little bit of victory lapping. But let's get to the news, man. Let's get to the news first. We got some shockingly big trades. I thought, you know, because you very rarely get fantasy relevant moves, you very rarely get superstar moves. We've got a couple of those already. I'll tell you, for fantasy football, first and foremost, Jacoby Myers to the Jaguars. So Parker Washington was in that Travis Hunter role, and it just seems it's such an important and crucial role to the offense. With Liam Cohen in the past, it's where he had Chris Godwin, it's where he had Cooper Kupp. Looks like they're going to use Jacoby Myers there. So Parker Washington, thank you for your service 1 week here. Maybe even one more week as Jacoby gets ramped up, but I expect Jacoby Myers to be in that role. Also, what does this tell you about Travis Hunter, man? It sounds like the second opinion they got on that knee was not what they were hoping for, huh?
Yeah, no, I think that they're going to have to try and limit him a little bit. If they're going to want to make a playoff push, you throw Jacoby Myers into that Godwin type role and you use Travis Hunter a little bit more sparingly, right? I mean, where's he more valuable? Is he more valuable to you as a wide receiver, as a defensive back overall? And I think they need to kind of do that. So yeah, I think that's it's a fine trade, fantasy value. If you have Jacoby Myers, this is going to work out nicely for you. It really is definitely better than Geno Smith, but Parker Washington, we hardly knew you, buddy.
I know, brutal. Another one of my favorites, my favorite sleeper now off the radar, in my opinion, is Torrey Horton. And I'll tell you what, last year I wrote a full article. Maybe I'll pull it up and throw it back out there because now it applies once again. Literally just hit Control F, replace Saints with Seahawks. Because last year I wrote, Clint Kubiak's scheme is perfectly fit for Rashid Shaheed. It's a 2 wide receiver scheme where they use a ton of pre-snap motion, try to get these speedy guys in space. They only focus on 2 wide receivers at the top and a tight end, and then they use blocking tight ends and a fullback. And Rashid Shaheed was doing great last year until he got hurt. And what did the Seahawks just do? With Cooper Kupp banged up, they went out and they traded for Rashid Shaheed. And now it's going to be JSN is your Chris Olave, and Rashid Shaheed is back in the role he was in last year, and potentially with a better quarterback, in Sam Darnold than Derek Carr. And Shaheed was great last year in fantasy. So Rashid Shaheed just got bailed out back to a scheme where he was very good last year. So good spot for Shaheed. Obviously not good for Torrey Horton. Torrey Horton is still a deep dynasty stash, but I think Shaheed comes in and plays over Cooper Kupp. Maybe this hamstring situation, he's dealing with multiple injuries, but Cooper Kupp probably going to be a part-time player, coming in only for 3 wide receiver sets to play slot. Shaheed's probably going to be an every down player. You don't make that trade if you're not going to use the guy the way you used him last year. So good news for Shaheed there, especially if you've been stashing him. Might even be able to trade for him because it really is a good scheme for what he does. And then there's, the biggest trade vendor, right? We got to talk about it. Sauce Gardner. Was he even on your radar as somebody that could potentially be traded here?
Oh yeah. I fully expected. I expected Brees Hall, Sauce Gardner, and Garrett Wilson all to be traded away from the Jets. The Jets need to just do a complete rebuild.
Yeah.
They just need to do. Maybe they're going to hold Garrett Wilson in the hopes of giving whatever quarterback they draft next year a featured target. But I mean, Jets need to tear it all down. Knew it was coming. I mean, you have to. We talked about it, right? You got to start with quarterback and offensive line, and then you build out from there. That's how you rebuild. So
with Brees Hall, what do you expect them to get?
The Jets got Adonai Mitchell, though.
Yeah, there you go, dude. Hey, you know what though? I was saying it. I was saying it a couple weeks ago. I was like, this guy needs a fresh start because like he completely blew the game for them with the not only the dropped ball at the goal line, but also holding call on a big Jonathan Taylor touchdown. He was
That's a banishment. That's not a change of scenery. That's a banishment. That's like going to the gulag, my friend.
I don't mind it for Adonai Mitchell. As far as playing time goes, like, hey, you found the spot. You found the spot where you can have it. With Brees Hall, I think it would be foolish for them to trade him for anything worse than a 4th-round pick. Simply because when you do the math on what they would get as a compensatory pick here, they're going to get a 5th-round pick minimum as a compensatory pick. I mean, like if somebody pays Brees Hall next year $8 million, they would get a compensatory pick back. So I think they're probably going to get a 4th if somebody pays.
He's a free agent at the end of this year. You either trade him now or you lose him for nothing.
No, they can collect a 4th-round comp pick if he signs for like 12, 13 million.
I don't want a 4th-round pick. I want more.
I mean, well, yeah, they're asking for a 3rd. I think that if you were to trade him now, do you think they would trade him for a 4th if they were given?
Dude, there's so many different things I think the Jets will end up screwing up and doing. But 2 first-round picks for Sauce Gardner, I'll take that as a little bit of a win here for me.
Yeah, Logan Wilson to the Cowboys. That was the big trade Jerry was talking about yesterday, and then Draymond Jones to the Ravens. And really, I liked his classy message on the way out. Did you see what Draymond Jones said?
I did not.
It was nice. He was like, hey, love you guys in Nashville. By the way, Cam Ward's the real deal. Give him some time, but I'm happy to be in the purple and black now. So there you go. That's how you do that. That's how you do that on your way out. Do you think Jacoby Myers had anything nice to say about the Raiders on his way out? I didn't see anything.
Again, I don't. I mean, it's so tough when you're looking at a team. If anything, I'd be super stoked about it. If I'm Jacoby Myers, I'm like, great. I'm getting out of this situation here. I know what they're trying to do. I don't fit. They're going to need a young QB. They can't go into this with, Geno. So, yeah. Can I tell you my biggest fear, Coop?
What is it?
My biggest fear right now is that the Jets do lose Brees Hall for like nothing. And as a way of like kind of filling the void, they sign Rico Dowdle.
You know it's happening.
They pay Rico.
You know it. They've been champing at the bit for it, dude. You know that's the trajectory, and then he'll be the next Mike Davis, right? Like just
wow, one of my biggest fantasy misses of all time.
Overdrafted.
Wow. Oh, you're really digging deep here, huh?
Overdrafted. Well, you'll avoid it this time. This time you'll avoid the trap, but I think everyone else is gonna fall for it and be like, "Oh yeah, Rico down."
Oh, my Lord!
Without knowing that they're falling for the trap. So, yes, that's a tough one, dude. So those are the trades so far. Chat, we know you guys are really great about this. Letting us know if anything good happens while we're chatting. So let's jump in and hit your questions. Throw it in the chat if you see any trades going in. Fatty, how does Shaheed trade hurt Torrey Horton? I mean, the heartbeat is under the floorboards now, buddy.
I mean, we'll see what's going on with Cooper Kupp, but this automatically turns Torrey Horton into the at best wide receiver 3.
It's back to, at best back to what he was, because this is a 2 wide receiver. The reason it's so good for JSN and Horton is because it's not a 3 wide receiver scheme. They love using AJ Barner and Elijah Arroyo and Robbie Oots and all these fullbacks. And once you start doing that, there's just not even close to a full-time snap share for the wide receiver 3. You see it in San Francisco, you see it in Miami. It's great for the 2 wide receivers that do get the work, but it's going to be Shaheed and JSN. So goodbye, Torrey. It's been fun.
We've got a couple of paid questions here in the, because obviously, people jump in here a little early and get their questions in here. So I want to make sure that we attack those first and foremost. Rod Elliott making his appearance. Hey, gents, Kelsey on a bye. I need a tight end. Please rank Musgrave, Otten, Engram, Jonnu, Freiermuth, Loveland, and Likely. Thank you. So I think this is the perfect time here to start talking about, obviously Kelsey's on a bye, but picking up the pieces from Tucker Kraft as well.
Yeah. So for those guys, just for 1 week, which is where you're probably going to live with Kelsey, it probably should be Cade on for that group. Because again, Chris Godwin doesn't seem like he's ready to be back. And Jalen McMillan has a broken bone in his neck, they revealed. And, you look at Mike Evans being done, like right now, he is the closest. He's a full-time player already in terms of snap share. And he's going to be coming off the bye here. And he's going against the Patriots, who have been kind of a leaky defense versus tight ends, one of the worst in the league. So it really should be him. Because like Musgrave is he's more of a stash for long-term for somebody. Really tough to trust him for 1 week. Engram's a part-time player. Jonnu Smith and Freiermuth are in that rotation. And then Colston Loveland, as much as we love him and the potential upside, like we don't know. Cole Kmet could clear concussion protocol. He doesn't necessarily have the big game he has if Kmet didn't get hurt. Also took a pretty wacky set of circumstances to get to where he was. So it really should be Otten there.
I'm surprised that you're not a little bit more bullish on Musgrave. I mean, it's kind of funny, right? Musgrave was actually drafted before Tucker Kraft, and you've got a guy like John Fitzpatrick who could sit there and handle the blocking duties. This playbook doesn't change because Kraft is gone, right? I mean, I know that Luke Musgrave, you're not just going to say, well, he's automatically going to do what Tucker Kraft does. But the offensive scheme still dictates a lot of tight end work here.
Right. So that's why I do my yin and yang tight end, where guys like Engram, Loveland, Musgrave are the better stashes. But for this particular question, just for a 1 week start, I'm going to have Otten ranked at just for the 1 week. That's where I'm at. If this were a rest of season question where he didn't have Travis Kelce, I would definitely be like, yeah, go for Loveland or Musgrave and see what you get there. Problem you run into is that Musgrave, the reason that Tucker Kraft surpassed Musgrave is because of his blocking ability. He is like in the George Kittle group of could be graded out in the top 5 blocking, like Dallas Goedert too at times, and also can break off big plays. Whereas Musgrave is kind of more of a part-time type, Engram type guy, even Kincaid type guy, which there's upside in that. But when you saw last week when Kraft was out, they didn't just give him all the 11 personnel snaps. John Fitzpatrick took a bunch of them. So it could end up being like the worst case scenario. John Fitzpatrick is like AJ Barner and Luke Musgrave just comes in for pass downs. Best case scenario though is he just plays a ton of pass snaps and he's getting those looks like Kincaid. And we've seen Kincaid do it on a 50% route participation. So Musgrave is definitely a guy we're looking to stash. Here's how I look at it. This week, just at the tight end position, overarching while we're talking about it. The most reliable guys in terms of upside right now and rest of season are still, to me, guys like Juwan Johnson, Theo Johnson. I mean, Juwan Johnson, now that Rashid Shaheed's been traded, just a slight little tick there. And again, you look at Juwan Johnson, he was really good to start the year. He suffered the ankle injury against the Bills, had a couple down games. Last 3 games, double-digit PPR points in each of those games, man. So I like Juwan. I like Theo Johnson. Streamers, we're talking about Juwan, Loveland, Theo. And then for stashes, if we're just pure stash, keep an eye on Mason Taylor. They're going to trade away a lot of pieces, and he's going to end up being – he already led the team in routes and targets his last game. And then Greg Dulcich, I mean, in deeper leagues, throw him on the bench, just got 5 targets. He could have the same trajectory that Waller had, where it's like comes in, doesn't play a ton. Next game, plays like 40% of the snaps like he did this week, gets 5 targets. Next week, he's up to 60. He's getting 7 targets. He's scoring a touchdown. You never know. So that's where we're living on those guys. But that's where we're at with the tight ends.
All right. Let me go to continue with some of these paid questions. And guys, again, if you want your question bumped up to the front of the queue, there's a join button over there on YouTube if you want to do that. And you can end up just for $4.99 a month all of your questions automatically get bumped up to the top
Right to the top.
of our queue. So you don't want to miss out on any of that. Rod Elliott's next question, trade question, my DJ Moore and Kamani Vidal for Odunze and Isaiah Davis. He has Breece Hall.
I'm doing that. I'm doing that for Odunze and Isaiah Davis just to shore it up. I mean, Vidal, not only is Vidal an expiring asset with the Marion Hampton coming back, but during that game, before it got to garbage time, they put in Jarrett Patterson, and he kind of looked a little bit better than Vidal. Not to mention they just lost Joe Alt for the season too, on top of already losing Rashawn Slater. Like
Exactly.
Vidal, to me, Vidal could be a zero. You know what I mean? So this trade to me is almost just a Odunze for DJ Moore straight up, which I feel like we would all do. Right?
And if the Jets turn around and trade Breece Hall, then you've got two starting running backs
got two
too.
starting running backs. Yeah, I mean, it's like you're getting a free Isaiah. You're getting an upgrade and a free Isaiah Davis here, especially because you're probably not going to start Vidal much. Probably not.
Yeah.
That's one guy that let us down this week. We had a few guys that let us down. He's one.
We don't need to talk about that.
Okay.
DM7819 says, good morning, fam. Darnold, JJ McCarthy, Fields available on waivers. I've got Mahomes on a bye. Stroud is concussed. Who should I pick up? Also, Jacoby Myers to the Jags. Yes, it does bump his value up in PPR formats. Let's go to the quarterbacks here, Coop. Obviously, Darnold coming off of a huge game. JJ McCarthy, his offensive line is getting healthy. He's got great targets. And Fields has the rushing ability. So where are you at the QB position?
I'm going Sam Darnold, man. Sam Darnold leads the league in yards per attempt this year, which Clint Kubiak is kind of the QB whisperer in that sense. Just 2 years ago, Brock Purdy had the second best yards. He has the highest yards per attempt right now, Sam Darnold does, Howard, of any quarterback in the last decade. And number 2 on that list is Brock Purdy under Clint Kubiak. Coaches should be knocking on the door of Clint Kubiak. If you're the Titans or any of these teams, bring this guy in and hopefully he can fix your quarterback. But I'm liking Sam Darnold. They just traded for another weapon for him. I mean, we're feeling good about him. Just imagine they get into actual shootouts, Howard, because he's doing it on like a bottom 3 in the league pass attempt team. When they get in the shootouts, he goes and pumps the numbers up. 4 touchdowns in one of these games. I'm liking Darnold. He's looking good. Maybe he deserved a couple of those MVP votes he got last year.
He definitely did. Listen, the Jets blew that one in a big way.
So did the Panthers.
Yeah.
So did the Vikings. I mean, dude, it's not just the Jets.
It's crazy. All right. Rod Elliott says, keep Chargers or add Baltimore? A little defensive question there.
So I have not done my weekly rankings yet. We've got Baltimore's got Minnesota. Chargers have San Francisco. No, they have Pittsburgh. Chargers defense let us down a little bit this week, huh?
They did.
I would go with Baltimore. Baltimore's trending in the right direction, in my opinion, with since they got Roquan Smith back, and you're probably going to start Baltimore next week against the Browns. Then they get the Jets, so it's like Baltimore's got a much better run out, in my opinion, than what the Chargers have.
Yeah.
Chargers got a bye week coming up in the week after next when the Ravens play the Jets, so you're going to need another defense anyway. Might as well just do it now.
All right. And last one here from DM7819. I need a tight end. Otten is available, but not sure who to drop. I've got Trey Benson, Krosky Merritt, Dobbs, and RJ Harvey. He's got McLaurin, AJ Brown, and Godwin all injured. Who are you dropping out of that crew?
You cannot drop Trey Benson or RJ Harvey at this moment.
No.
Not at this moment. It's either Dobbs or JCM. And if you're starting the tight end this week and you got to make a move, then I'd probably just drop Romeo Dobbs. Guy's never had a 100-yard game during the regular season in his entire career, which is kind of wild. He had one in the playoffs against the Cowboys. He just doesn't offer the upside you need for that team.
All right. Beautiful. And it is happy NFL trade deadline day for everybody indeed. All right, let's go through some more of these questions here and see if we can't help out the kids. First and foremost, in all honesty, Greg, you don't need to learn the DFS thing. You're better off playing prop games. I'm telling you, DFS gets a little crazy. It's a lot more work, and it's a lot harder to cash. I'm telling you that. Greg will talk privately. I promise you. You're going to be better on it. Bron Chisholm says, should I trade Judkins, Smith? I don't know what Smith that is, but somebody named Smith. Kittle for Lamar, Bowers, and T-Mac.
I'm
Judkins,
guessing that's
Smith and Kittle.
I'm guessing that's Ted McMillan and not Terry McLaurin.
I'm sure that's Ted McMillan there, right? Because that automatically that group looks great. I just wish I knew which Smith. Which Smith do you think it is?
I'm betting it's Devonta Smith based on the order these players are ranked in because Kittle seems to be above the line. So if you're above the Kittle line, it's got to be Devonta Smith. Judkins, Smith, Kittle for Lamar, Bowers, T-Mac. I would rather have the Lamar. Bowers. I have no QB. If you have no viable QB, I'd rather have the Lamar, Bowers, McMillan side. Just you have to start Kenneth Walker at RB2, which is kind of tough. But Walker, I mean, he's looked fine. He's got weekly upside. It's just they're not using him in a high capacity situation. But Judkins, we don't know what's going on with that shoulder with Judkins. These AC joint situations, they can get ugly quick. I mean, it's those AC joints come from literally just taking contact on the top of your shoulder pad, and it just takes a couple more of those for them to wrap it up. Dalvin Cook struggled with that for years and years and years. It's a bad injury for a running back to have. So I'm a little worried about Judkins. I would do the trade.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm getting a message in here with a win a free month. Are we giving some fun stuff away here? Guys, ladies and gentlemen, here, win a free month of the All-Pro. For the next 30 minutes, every 10 super chats, we will give away 1 month of All-Pro. So look at that. We're just dropping it in there. It's Johnny and Pemba on the back end here, trying to deal for everybody. So I absolutely love that. Thank you, John. Every 10 super chats. So let's get it going. In the meantime, Brendan says, do you think Hampton comes back? I'm 5-5, playing top teams next 3 weeks. Should I trade for Aaron Jones and Shaheed? Not sure if I can wait for Hampton.
So if you can't wait on Hampton, that's not a bad return, but just know that Aaron Jones also now dealing with that AC joint situation. So, but he came and took his job right back. So I feel like if both Shaheed and Jones go into your lineup and you can't wait on Hampton, that's about as good a return as you're going to get. I wouldn't do that if one of those guys is going to be on your bench.
Yeah. All right. Beautiful. Beautiful. Let's see. Going through next. How does the Shaheed trade hurt Torrey Horton? Well, kind of on that. It pushes him away.
To shreds, you say. I mean, this isn't like some of these teams that this isn't like the Buccaneers or even the Rams that are just willing to have 3 guys out there all the time and say, okay, let the best man win, right? This is a team that only has 2 guys on the field. Torrey Horton is a 50% or less snap share guy with Shaheed taking that role. It is death sentence.
All right. Coop, would you drop Keenan Allen for Christian Watson?
I would. Keenan Allen is one of those. He's a very interesting player because he makes plays when he's on the field. He almost made the most ridiculous diving catch, just missed on the sideline this week. But his snap share has plummeted. Rondé Gadsden is a full-time guy now. Gadsden, McConkey, and QJ all ran 33 routes, and Keenan Allen was down once again closer to 20. Last week he only ran 17. He just doesn't have enough upside for me, even in full PPR. So, yeah, I'm just going after upside with Watson.
All right. Beautiful. Beautiful. There it is. Little membership here. Fred chiming in, 12 team, half point PPR, need a wide receiver 3 and a flex. Are you trying to start Sinis here, Fred? The trade deadline is happening today. There's 0 chance you can actually get this. I love you, Fred. I do, but man, how do I make this determination here?
It's Fred, so I'll allow it. Anybody else? The answer is no. Fred's one of our guys. So, okay, needs a wide receiver 3 and a flex. I think these guys are mostly outside of the realm of the danger zone of trade deadline anyway. I'm not using Michael Wilson. That was a 1 week play based on the Cowboys and DVOA versus wide receiver 2s. You saw it last night. It was, he needed the big play to get there. Slayton and Pierce, though. I mean, Pierce lately has gone. He's kind of transcended being just a boom bust guy to being a guy that has a floor and can also boom. I think, unfortunately, Howard, I believe our Tyler Algier of the wide receivers is going to get picked up in a lot of leagues this week.
Probably.
So I'm going to grab Alec Pierce there just as a full-time guy in one of the best offenses. Slayton's not bad either, though. Slayton went out and played a big snap share, caught a big one, delivered on what we needed from him too. But Pierce is just in a better offense with a better quarterback. So I'm going to go there. And they just traded away Adonai Mitchell. That's done.
Yeah. Loveland's only really good if Cole Kmet is definitely out. Like that's something you gotta wait and see on there because like Loveland wasn't doing anything until Cole Kmet went out with the concussion. So
yeah, so it's Slayton or Mason Taylor, and I'd probably just start Slayton there.
There you go.
Yeah.
Rod Elliott wants to know, is Cooper Kupp droppable now?
Cooper Kupp was droppable like 3 weeks ago, bro. I hate to say it, dude, but like now the game before the bye, JSN got 14 targets and he got 1. I think that tells you all you need. And I watched that game again. Cooper Kupp was getting wide open too. They were no interest in throwing to that player. So I think it's going to be Shaheed. It's going to be JSN, and then Kupp's going to come in as a part-time guy. He looked pretty good this week on the sideline coaching up the young guys. I think that he might be more of a clipboard guy for that team moving forward.
There you go. Would you drop Tez Johnson to pick up Colston Loveland?
If you're not starting Tez Johnson this week, then you might never start him again. So I would do that. If you're like, again, if that's the question, you're not starting Tez. If you're not starting Tez while Godwin's out, I don't even know what the plan would be.
Yeah. Greg wants to know, is Chuba getting traded? I don't know. I don't think so.
Not with the contract he has. If anything, Rico would get traded.
Yeah.
Right? Shop Rico right now. He's not under contract for you next year. See if someone will give you an advance on whatever comp pick you're going to try and collect.
Hottest running back in football right now.
Yeah, see if the Jets want to get a 1 year.
Trone Forrest says he lost Jaden Daniels, just traded Parker Washington for Jackson Dart. That's a great move. Wow. That's sick. Wow.
Talk about a timely move, dude. That other guy must be kicking the dirt right now.
Seriously.
The other guy's punching the air right now.
He also wants to know, how does Shaheed trade affect Olave with a rookie QB? I don't necessarily know if it really changes Olave's value, does it?
Olave can't get any more targets than he's been getting, dude. He's already got like 100. We can't pull over any farther. It's like he's been throwing the ball 10 times a game, you know? So I don't think it changes anything. The quarterback is still, it is what it is. But the quarterback's been bad all year. Like Olave's just been that guy all year. He's basically, you know what Chris Olave is? He's what Terry McLaurin's been for the last like 6 years, which is a guy who gets peppered with targets. He managed to scrap his way to 1,000 yards, and he has 3 or 4 touchdowns. And at some point, guys like Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave will get a real quarterback, and they'll continue to get 1,000 yards, but now they're going to score 13 touchdowns like Terry McLaurin did last year. That's the way of the world, man. We watched Andre Johnson do that his whole career. He just never had a guy that could get him touchdowns, but he kept delivering because he's a good player. Olave's a good player.
All right. Chris Braden wants to know, he says he lost Daniels in a super flex league, has a limit of 3 QBs per squad, and it's a 10-teamer. Starters on the waiver wire right now: Tua, Fields, Mariota, Gabriel, and Penix. I mean, Fields and Penix right off the bat stand out to me.
I'll hit you with, dude, this is such a weird waiver wire for quarterbacks right now, Howard, because of the heavy bye weeks we've had with the 10 teams on bye last 2 weeks. So many quarterbacks got picked up, and they all kind of hit a little bit, and no one's dropping them. So, like, people are picking up Darnold and they're picking up Flacco, but they're not dropping them. And there's very few real decent quarterbacks that are less than 50% rostered. So, I'm going with Fields of that group. Here's how I view the quarterback waiver wire right now. The guy that I do want to focus on, who's probably already rostered in your league, Braden, is J.J. McCarthy. I know he hasn't popped yardage-wise yet, but, I mean, in that scheme with those wide receiver, I mean, J.J. McCarthy, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, T.J. Hawkinson, Aaron Jones, the tools are there for McCarthy. So if you can get Darnold or you can get Flacco and put him on the bench and start somebody else, then obviously do that. But those guys are rostered in more than 50% of leagues. McCarthy's where I'm going. And then Fields is where I'm using a streamer. I know that Cleveland game, the over-under was looking like what, Howard? Like 37? But you're just trying to catch a rushing touchdown. 40 rushing yards and a rushing touchdown is double-digit points. And then whatever passing is gravy on top. For stashes, Mariota, you got to stash him. He ran 8 times this week. Like, see if he's just continuing, if he's willing to run. They're committed to him now, so like, they're gonna try and win with him. And then I guess in your super flex leagues, 2 QB leagues, Shadur Sanders. I mean, like, who's next man up to get a starting job at some point? Maybe Shadur is probably closest. I mean, I don't know what that's gonna look like, but it can't be worse than Dylan Gabriel. So that's kind of where we're at. QB market is real rough right now, man. So for that, I would just throw Fields in there, dude.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Alex Saban says here's his team. What do you think? Drake May, James Cook, Judkins, JSN, Ibuka, McBride. I mean, is it 10-teamer here?
Rules, yeah. That team rocks, bro.
Yes.
Well, that's the thing. That's why we love using tight end and quarterback to create leverage. Because in hindsight, we look at these teams with Drake May and we say, how did you build this team? And then you realize, well, Drake May was QB 15 off the board. Like, that's how you build this team. And but you look at a lot of my best teams right now are ones where I waited on quarterback, waited on tight end, and you ended up with a Drake May or Daniel Jones, and you ended up with an Aronde Gadsden, and you used your first 8 or 9 picks on running backs and wide receivers. That's how you create leverage, baby. That's how you get a stew going. My big hometown league, the one I always talk about, Howard, the lag, 25 years, 8-1 with Rashee Rice on the roster. You know why? My quarterback's Drake May, and my tight end is Kyle Pitts. Let's go.
Let's go. Love it. All right. Steve Pereira wants to know, do I pick up Sam Darnold or Jackson Dart this week? Jackson Dart is going to be taking on the Chicago Bears, who just got annihilated there by Cincinnati's offense, or Sam Darnold, who will be hosting the Arizona Cardinals.
I mean, the questions like this, it's really like, I got to know, do you have Mahomes or something and you're just starting him for 1 week? Because if you are, it should be Dart, right? Like, just go with the mobile guy against the bad defense. But if this player has a chance to be your quarterback rest of the season, I do kind of like Darnold. I mean, that offense is highly efficient. That's a good football team. That's a good football team. So if you have someone like who's on bye? There's some good quarterbacks on bye this week. It's Flacco.
On bye this week, it's Flacco, it's Dak Prescott, it's Cam Ward, and it's Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, so if you have Dak or Mahomes and this is the 1 week start, go Dart. But if you don't, if for whatever reason, then go Darnold because I like him rest of the season. I do. Oh, look at what it is. Hey, Laney.
Hey, hi, Laney.
Hey, buddy.
See that? Smash that like button.
And Lufa's in here too.
Laney
there you go.
Lufa.
Say hi, buddy. Hey, Daddy.
Is that a beer?
Yeah, it is.
Nice.
All right, say bye.
Slamming beers.
Wait,
Good
everybody.
job.
You wave? Okay, you say bye, Laney. Beers, buddy. Go ahead. A lot of people seem to think that this door is a closet, but it actually is not. Dude, earlier today, I'm washing the dishes, just a real quick story, and I just hear Laney going, 1 for you, and 1 for you, and 1 for you. And after I heard that about 4 times, I walked over, and to imagine what that could be. And it was her handing Lufa all of the treats out of her bag, one at a time, until they were all gone. I think there were maybe 4 left.
There you go.
Huge day for Lufa today. Huge day for the Fantasy Alarm family. 1 for you and 1 for you. So there you go, guys. So, all right, what were we talking about?
All right, well, Chris Braden wants to know your opinion here. Would you consider running a week without 2 QBs in a Superflex league if you had good depth and at running back and wide receiver? Perfect opportunity here, Coop. Talk about a Superflex league, and then let's kind of pop in with some running back. You know what? There's nothing on the waiver wire for running backs. There's really nothing out there.
So I'm not even kidding you. The name Devin Singletary appears in the article.
Ugh,
in the main article.
gross.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just say it real quick. Tajay Spears is the priority, especially before. I know you can't add him now, but definitely hold him just to see if Pollard gets traded. Devin Singletary got some work here. Tyrone Tracy also got nicked up a little bit, which helps Singletary. Our normal streamers are really not on the radar because Spears is on bye. So we're going to use Kenneth Gainwell in full PPR against the Chargers, I guess. And then Singletary, because I don't really want to use Tyler Algier in his matchup this week. Could be a negative game script. Then we're stashing Emmanuel Wilson, Isaiah Davis. I mean, now is the time to go out and get the heavy handcuffs, the pure handcuffs. Once you guys get through their bye weeks, time to start adding Blake Corum and Tank Bigsby and Brian Robinson and Tyler Algier and just protect yourself. Protect yourself. Not just for you and your own handcuffs, but like you don't want that one guy who just needs one more running back to inherit the best handcuff rest of the season. So they start doing that now. And yeah, Howard's been preaching this for years. The super flex format, you don't always have to start 2 quarterbacks. If you have anyone viable, though, we always do start a quarterback because the floor for quarterbacks is like 10 points. But don't ruin your roster for 1 week. Just don't like give up good players. Don't make a crazy trade just for 1 week. Sometimes you just gotta tough it out, right?
Sometimes you do.
Don't have to
Sometimes
start
you do.
a quarterback. So there you go.
Kangas man in the house with Myers in Jacksonville. How much does this hurt BTJ short term and long term?
Doesn't change anything for BTJ. BTJ, what's going on with BTJ is that he's been asked to be Mike Evans in this scheme. He is the full-time outside split end, which is a very difficult job. You get all the toughest assignments, and his quarterback isn't Baker Mayfield, and it's not Matthew Stafford, and that makes for a very tough thing. Like you see in this type of scheme, if you're Mike Evans, if you're Devontae Adams, you can make it work. BTJ has some growing pains. So whoever's playing that Chris Godwin slot role doesn't change the role for BTJ. He's got to learn how to be the big dog, which is what he's supposed to be. And I think he can be, but it takes some time, So he's a buy low for me in Dynasty. In redraft, it could be tough.
Coop, why don't you bust out those Twitch glasses, my friend? Because Niori604 is in the house. Thoughts on trading away Derrick Henry and Wan'Dale Robinson for Bijan Robinson?
My thoughts are do that immediately.
Smash that accept button.
That up. Smash that big time. Because Wan'Dale Robinson is exactly fine in full PPR. And he's almost not really that usable in other formats. He's just, you're not going to miss him. He's replaceable. So do it.
Yeah, I would definitely make sure that you do that. Yeah. Fred's back in town here with his membership card. 12-team half-point PPR. Daniel Jones is his main QB. He's got Dart as a backup. Should I drop Dart for JJ McCarthy? No.
Not with Jones. When Daniel Jones is your starter, all you care about is upside. And Dart with his mobility has more. Yeah. I mean, the better your starter is, the more high risk, high reward you want to be with the second guy you have.
Yeah. There you go. Steve Perea, by the way, he filled in the blanks there. You asked him who his QB was, and he has Dak Prescott.
Yep, that's smart because it's just 1 week. So start Dart against the Bears.
Yeah, indeed. All right, back up to the questions here. I got Death Wish in the house. What's up, brother? Do we think Hall gets traded? Jets got a good return for Sauce. Still surprising. I think they do need to trade Breece Hall. A compensatory 4th-round pick is not for somebody signing Breece Hall in the offseason is not what the haul is that we want.
And then think about these teams that are up against it with the salary cap and aren't going to be making big splashes in free agency next year. Think about what they can do. Like if you're the Chiefs, man, you trade a 3rd. Your pick is going to be at the very end of the draft, right?
Yeah.
So your 3rd is at the very end of the 3rd round. And then what happens if he goes crazy on your team and then either you keep him or you let him walk and someone pays him $13-14 million, which I mean, Barkley's getting 20, right? Kamara's getting 12.5. If somebody gives him $14 million, you get a 4th-round comp pick back. So you give a 3rd and then you get a 4th back in 2027. I mean, like for some of these teams, I feel like I'm taking crazy pills that they're not jumping on this for a 3rd. I think they're trying to hold out for a 4th, but so I think someone's going to do it because it makes a lot of sense.
Somebody's definitely going to bite, no doubt. Deathwish says he's got Daniel Jones and Brock Purdy's been on his IR. Streaming the Browns D this week versus the Jets. Would you drop Rams for a positional player? I've been streaming defenses. I could add Darnold or Loveland. Well, I mean,
no, not with those quarterbacks. I'm not adding Darnold.
Yeah, there's no need.
No, there's no need.
And Loveland is just, I mean, Loveland's a dart throw again. He's not ready. He's not supplanting, Cole Kmet. I know Kmet's dealing got a back issue. I think he left with a concussion. He's not going away.
No.
But I'm fine if you want to try and, throw a dart at somebody else there and drop the extra defense.
I mean, look at this. Like, if you go Cleveland, you start Cleveland against the Jets this week. Next week, they both kind of have tough matchups. But week 12, when the Rams play Tampa Bay, you can start Cleveland against Las Vegas. And then the next week, you can start the Rams against the Panthers. I mean, the way that the schedules match up for these two particular teams, and then the next week Cleveland gets the Titans. I mean, you can if you with those two defenses, you can basically start them against bottom 5 offenses in 4 of the next 5 weeks. So I think that might actually be valuable enough to just hang on to the two teams.
He's also throwing in Pearsall, Slayton, and Pierce into the mix there. I also still held on to Tootin. Just don't see much on this week on the wire. Then don't make a move. Like
don't make a move.
If you don't have to make a move, then don't make a move. Let your waiver priority build up or save your fab budget, man.
Just to wrap the defense talk, Browns versus Jets is my top stream. The best stash right now, though, if you're like 7-2 or 8-1, and you're looking to stash a defense for the playoffs, the Buccaneers schedule is not good for the next couple weeks. Patriots, Bills, Rams. After that, this is how their schedule finishes: Cardinals, Saints, Falcons, Panthers, Dolphins. And then week 18, just for fun, is the Panthers again. Like the Buccaneers is the defense to stash right now. For kickers, just playing matchup based, go for, McManus. I know he missed the field goal, but our own Erica was on the ground this week, and she said that it was crazy windy. So McManus and Will Riker, those are the kickers. So that's your kicker and defense talk for this week.
All right. Gus Edwards is in the house here, right? Now he's back. Now he's playing fantasy football. Would you trade Romeo Doubs for Shaheed?
Absolutely.
Yes, I would.
Absolutely. Immediately.
Yep. 100%. 100%. Two Socks in the house. What's up, brother? Half point PPR 10-teamer. Kelsey's on a bye. Waiver wire pickup. Loveland, Fannin, Otten, Hawkinson, and drop Flowers or Addison. I've got London, McConkey, Pittman, Sutton, and Ibuka. So, yeah.
You got to drop somebody to start a tight end. I would probably add Fannin, and I would drop Addison.
You'd go Fannin over Otten?
I mean, you're just going to start Fannin this week and then drop him? Yeah, I guess I would go Otten for just this week. I would. Sucks you got to drop Addison, but you got to field a lineup, and you're never going to start Addison with those wide receivers you have. It's just never going to happen. So, yeah, do what you got to do. Go for Otten. What the thing is with Loveland, it's so hard because Kmet is in concussion protocol. We don't know, Would it be Loveland if we could guarantee Kmet was out this week, Howard?
I mean, would it be against the Giants? Giants, mid-level against the tight end. I mean, I wouldn't be against it.
Yeah.
But it's tough when you when you're sitting there making a move like that.
Right. Not to mention Njoku could get traded today. Njoku could get traded to the Packers by the end of the day. So, I would
that's
wait.
The good thing is that 4 p.m. Eastern is the trade deadline. You'll know everybody by 5 o'clock before you have to even make your waiver wire moves. You'll see all the trade movement. That'll be in-house already.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, that's where I'm with that.
All right. VBZ2X, need a flex QB for Dak. Please pick one to pick up. Fields, Mariota, Penix, Rodgers, Bryce Young.
Just the 1 week. 1 week it's Fields, right?
I think it's Fields. I mean, you're not. The thing about with Fields, and everybody worries about the Cleveland defense. Cleveland defense is definitely, it's a tough matchup for a running back trying to get between the tackles. But if Myles Garrett is chasing you around, I think Fields is going to take off and he's going to do a little bit more running. And you can throw on Cleveland.
Yeah.
You can definitely throw on Cleveland.
Yep. So I'm going Fields there for 1 week for sure.
Half point PPR, pick a flex, Gadsden, Myers, and Harvey.
It's still got to be Gadsden for now. Harvey, we're hearing good things from Sean Payton. Sean Payton saying that, what did he say? He said, we're seeing it right before our eyes. It's like, you gave him 2 carries, man. I love the targets, but we need to see more in the carry department. And Myers needs to learn a playbook. So Myers, good to have on the bench, but it's still Gadsden. But Gadsden went out and caught 5 passes against one of the toughest tight end defenses, man. He's kind of foolproof. I moved him up to the standalone tier. I'm seeing enough on Gadsden. I'm in.
Jason William asks, drop Josh Downs or Pollard or Spears or for Troy Franklin, Alec Pierce or Slayton. Swapping guys out for more mediocrity.
Yeah, I mean Troy Franklin, he's getting the snaps. Last few weeks, man, he's gotten decent targets. I think I would go and drop. I would drop Downs just because he's a part-time player. I mean Franklin's not doing a ton with it, but last 3 games, 10 targets, 8 targets, 10 targets. And he scored a couple touchdowns there, so I would go Franklin over Downs moving forward.
All right. And here we go. Greg Martinez letting us know that BTJ's got a low-grade high ankle sprain. Perfect way to finish up the show here, Coop, with some wide receiver waiver wire thoughts.
Here we go. Okay, here's what we're doing. Top ad has to be now all of a sudden for me, Trey Tucker. I mean, he's already been kind of consistent. With Jacoby Myers gone, I think he could be the top 2 target on that team. They're gonna, Tyler Lockett's gonna play a little bit. Tyler Lockett played over Jack Besh and Dante Thornton this week. I'd love to see a little more Jack Besh, but Jack Besh plays a split end on the outside. Tucker's gonna get that role there, so he's the number 1 guy for me. Chimere Dike, definitely a guy that's on our radar. He played in 2 wide receiver sets over Elik Ayeminar. So hopefully Calvin Ridley gets traded today, but if he doesn't, it could be DK there. He returned the punt too. For streamers, similar guys to usual, Darius Slayton, Alec Pierce. Rashad Bateman actually ran the exact same number of routes as Zay Flowers this week, and it could be a high-scoring game versus Minnesota, so I consider Bateman on that radar too. For stashes, I mean, we have to see how everything shakes out today. Brandon Ayuk, if you can have an IR spot. Kyle Williams, although Keyshawn Butte came out and on his own Discord today said that he's not going to miss much time. There's not too much out there for stashes. I guess now is the time probably to maybe even look in your deeper leagues, look at these rookies for the Raiders, because with Myers out, maybe Jack Besh and Dante Thornton do a little something. But there's not too many crazy deep stashes out there because we're just not getting enough snaps out of Pat Bryant and Trey Harris and those guys. So I guess Kyle Williams is the one that's closest to maybe growing a role, considering, there's room over there.
There we go. All right. Well, you guys can check out Andrew Cooper's waiver wire articles over at fantasyalarm.com. His tight end yin yang rankings go inside that waiver wire article. The streamers and stashes, that's the important one as well. That is behind our paywall. So if you don't have an all-pro subscription, do yourselves a favor right now. Either zap this QR code, right, or go to fantasyalarm.com/YouTube. It'll automatically populate YT50 into that promo code area. Just click apply, get the 50% off your first month. It's going to pay for the rest of your subscription, people. It's going to pay for the rest of your subscription.
And become part of the family, hang out with us in the Discord and the family watch party, and be part of the fun and be part of the winning. It's not every week. We did a little extra victory lapping this week because one of the best weeks we've had, but hey, we're already head down, focus on week 10. So thank you everybody for tuning in. Hit that like and subscribe button on the way out. But until tomorrow, 1 p.m., we are
adios, turd nuggets.